Hey guys, I guess y'all just about lost hope in me. It has been a heck of an evening. I meant to go live at 5 and it just didn't happen. Y'all know how life goes sometimes. Let me see if I can turn this thing around. William, I pray everything is all right. Yeah, William, I'm good. I'll tell y'all about my adventurous evening. I appreciate you asking, though. Let me see if I can turn this thing around so I can read y'all's comments while I cook. But yeah, it's been a pretty adventurous evening. Nothing bad happened. Nothing bad. Just pretty much the sad state of the country that we're in kind of got me running late. Hey, EG. Thank you for being here. All right, I just got done milking the cow, so I gotta strain my milk. Now, hold on. See if I can scoot y'all back a little bit. What's cooking? So tonight I'm cooking pork chops, some canned green beans, and some pink-eyed purple hull peas. I got some leftover homemade biscuits that we'll have with it too. What does a nosy green pepper do? I don't know, William. Tell me. I love your jokes. Did you go live while you milked and Nap came over? No, actually I didn't, because I'm out of data on my cell phone. So it'll reset in like 4 days, but I'm out of data, so I had to wait till I got on the Wi-Fi. So I couldn't go live while milking, but she did great. I was actually running late today. Gets jalapeno business. I gotta tell Andy that one. That's a good one, William. Gets jalapeno business. As in fried pork chops. No, I cook them fried sometimes, like breaded and fried, but I like to just like, I don't know, I don't guess you call it fried. I just sear them in the pan with some seasoning and stuff on them. That's the way we like to eat them. I like them better that way than we do fried. So most of the time, that's just the way I cook them. So let me get this milk poured in here. I thought Belle was going to give me a hard time because I was late, but she didn't. She was an angel. Because the camera wasn't on her. Hope everybody had a great day, a great week. It's supposed to rain here tomorrow and be stormy and stuff, I think. So I'll probably be catching up on some housework. That's usually the way that goes on rainy days. But when I get done doing this, I'll tell y'all my little story. We had a great time at the Farm Where You Live Festival last weekend. I can't believe it's already been a week since we went. We had a really good time. We talked to Billy from Permapastures Farm several times. Super, super nice guy. And we enjoy watching all his videos. So if you've never heard of him, definitely check him out. Talked with Justro from Metcalf Mills. He was super nice. He's actually going to send us some different seeds. Him and Andy talked quite a bit, actually. I want to cook some salmon cakes, but I don't know how you cook them without them falling apart. So, salmon cakes is not something that I cook, just because I grew up eating salmon cakes, because I love them, but Andy won't eat them. So, I never learned to cook them. Mom always cooked them, but I never cooked them. So, I don't know what she puts in them, because hers don't fall apart, but I don't know. I may have to ask her what she puts in them. Or she may hop on here eventually. If she does, if I see her come on here, I'll tell her to let you know how hers don't fall apart. But yeah, Andy, I can't get him for the life of me to eat salmon cakes, so I just never fix them. Because it ain't no use in me cooking something that ain't nobody gonna eat but myself, so. But yeah, and we also met the Homestead and Pasture. I think my mother used egg and crackers. That sounds right. I feel like That's probably what Mama does. Roger, add an egg to the salmon, then make cakes out of them. All right. That's probably, I feel like Mama does put eggs in hers, but I'm not sure. But we also met the homestead pastor. He was such a nice guy. We met him and his wife. Super, super nice people. Again, check out his channel on YouTube. I watch a lot of his videos. He puts a lot of good sermons on there. I really enjoy listening to him preach. But he puts a lot of homestead stuff on there too. So y'all be sure to check him out too. Super good people. Had a lady come up to me, and she actually recognized me, and I got to talk with her, got to meet a follower, and it was so wonderful. Like, she made my week coming up. Her and her husband and her sweet little girl come up talking to me, and that did. It just absolutely made my week. And so if you're watching, it was so nice to meet you, and you just don't know how wonderful that is to put a face with a name. But yeah, we had a good time. We had a really good time. And then after we left, we rode some back roads and rode around for a little bit before we made our way back home. If you didn't see my post, I got home. It was like 6 or 6:30. We got home that evening. I usually milk around 4:30. My cow was, she cooperated. She went into the stanchion beautifully, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought she was going to be like super mad. She walked into the stanchion just pretty as you ever seen. Stood there, was being sweet, and I was like, wow, she's really turned a corner here. She's not showing me any attitude, Well, then she picked up her foot and set it directly down into the bucket. Like, I'm pretty sure she was aiming for the bucket, and set her foot right there, and I like to have never got her foot out of my bucket. And I was about halfway done milking, and I was like, well, I guess that was, pretty sure she had a smirk on her face when she did that. Being from Hickory, have you met Dale Jarrett? My dad used cornmeal. I don't think so. What do you use your comfrey salve for? So we use it for abrasions, a youngin falls and skins their knee. It's a really good healing salve. I've also heard it's good, like anti-aging salve. I've never tried it on my face or anything, but I have read that. It's just really good for your skin, and I've heard if you like sprain your ankle or something too, it really helps like with the inflammatory process, and helps with the pain and stuff from a sprained ankle, and helps that heal. But usually we just use it for skinned knees, skinned elbows, cut your finger a little bit. That's usually what we do. Let me get me another jar. But yeah, y'all know my grandmother has been sick, for a while, and she's doing a whole lot better. She's doing much better. She's living at home by herself and everything, doing a lot better. She's been having some issues. I had to go pick up a medication for her from her pharmacy because she's just not been feeling great. So I went on, because she's been driving, but I went on and was going to pick up the medication for her. I get to the pharmacy. The doctor called in this morning. She wasn't supposed to start taking it till tonight. I went to the pharmacy. They had a sign taped to the window that said, closed due to short staffing. So, she needed that medicine tonight. And so I had to call the doctor's office, and luckily it didn't take me too long to get through. It's a very busy office because it's a rural community, and this is like the only doctor's office. So they're very, very busy. And so they had to call in the medicine to another pharmacy. And so I had to go to that pharmacy, and they had to wait till they got it, and then they got it, and then I had to wait for it to be filled. Well, that pharmacy was packed, and I guess because the one down the road was closed. And so I left my house at 2:30 with all intentions of being back here by 4, and it just didn't happen. And that's a sad state that our society is in. There's just not enough workers. Where they all went, I don't know, but when you can't get your medicine, I think that's kind of, I don't know, it's scary a little bit, I think. Because, what if there wouldn't have been another pharmacy close by, because the second one they called it into, that's the only one within several miles. I would have had to drove probably another hour to get to another pharmacy if that second one couldn't have filled it. I just think that's real sad. But that's why I'm running late. And I had to run by her house and fix her pill box and everything. I got my green beans going over here. I'm one of those type of people that like to cook my green beans to death. I put my piece of meat in there and I let them cook till the water gets out of them. That's the way I like them. Some people don't like them that way, but that's the way we like to eat them. And then pink-eyed peas, they're canned, so I'll just open them up and get them warmed up, put a little chunk of meat in them too. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, and I got a question. Anybody, I know I have a follower on here that has milk cows too. So my question to you is flies. What, if anybody can tell me what to do about flies? Since it's been warming up, the flies are really irritating her, and they're irritating me, like coming over here biting me, you know, too, because I'm around the cow. And I buy a fly spray for my horses, like from Tractor Supply, but I don't know about that mist, like, floating around and landing in my milk. Y'all know what I mean? Like, I don't want to drink that stuff. So I'm just wondering, like, what can I do? What can I do about these flies? Like, is there something that I can spray on her, like something natural? I thought about vinegar. I don't know if it would work. But I'm going to have to do something because they're driving me and her both crazy. And she's, she's standing good in the stanchion and everything, but she can't sling her head around and get the flies on her back, and then she gets irritated, and I don't blame her. Our potatoes are finally coming up. I would try planting herbs. Flies don't like near them. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I may try to do that, something like that. So what would that be? Would that be like, it's like the strong smelling ones, right? I think I've read like basil, maybe, and rosemary. I feel like I've read those somewhere. But yeah, I just don't want to spray that fly spray on her and like that residue, fall into my milk. I don't want to drink fly spray. So straining the milk takes about as long as milking the cow. But yeah, I like to cook my pork chops. I'm just going to cook them on my cast iron pan, and peppermint, oregano, and such. Yes, strong smells. Lemon balm. Well, I got plenty of lemon balm. It grows crazy around here. I let it seed out one time, and like now it's everywhere. So maybe I should dig some up and plant it over there. Uh-oh. What'd I do? Okay. We have bumbles that dive bomb me. I sprayed that area with vinegar, and they stay away. Okay, so maybe I should try vinegar too then. Maybe like I could spray her down with vinegar every day before we milk. We could try that. And I may try the herb thing too, because I do have plenty of lemon balm. Finally. Alright, finally got all that strained. And so what I'm going to do, what you'll notice, I'm actually going to cook 6 pork chops. Just so we'll have lunch. Are you back?
I'm back.
That's Andy. He just come in.
Are you live?
Yeah. Maybe spray the wood stall with vinegar before she goes in. Yeah, I could definitely try that. Because them flies like bite the fire out of you. They was biting me out there today. Alright, let me get the lid on these.
Mama,
What, baby?
can I have candy meatballs for supper?
Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
I ate my candy for lunch.
You do? Okay.
I got paid.
I always write the date on it. So that way I know what to use first.
I'm gonna run down here and unhook the trailer.
Okay.
Found you your green piece of land. Tell them on there if they want to move up here. There's a piece of land for sale.
Where's that at?
Hanging Rock. Look at the price
Where's the price?
on the other paper.
Oh my gosh.
15 acres.
Andy just come in with this paper. This is a piece of property that's down the road from us.
That joins Hanging Rock State Park.
It
It has views of Hanging
It
Rock
has
State
views of Hanging Rock State Park
Park. And Moore's Knob.
and Moore's Knob and all that. They only
It's a
want.
beautiful place. I've been up in there before.
That's that ain't Miss Petrie ain't selling her house, is it?
No, it ain't her house, is it?
No.
Is that her name?
No. I think it's her husband's name.
Is it?
I think so.
No,
But anyways.
it ain't a house on it.
It's not. Oh, well, anyways, they only want a mere $22,000 an acre. So if you're interested in moving up here, I can send you more info on that.
Beautiful, beautiful views, but my God.
Yeah, usually y'all land around here. I know like everywhere's different, but land in this area right here goes for $4,000 or $5,000 an acre. Usually, except for when stuff got weird, and you know people jack the prices up. Stuff's still weird. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. But yeah, 22,000 an acre. I mean, I don't know.
Too much.
Somebody with some deep pockets is gonna have to buy that one.
Yeah.
I figured it up. It's 330,000 for 15 acres.
That's crazy. I guess if that's what you want.
Well, I'd love to have it, but I don't got that kind of money.
Alright, I'm gonna get my pork chops going. Gee, I thought Missouri land was expensive at $5,000 to $10,000 an acre. Yeah. I mean, it's got a nice view, but but what we've run into in this area, and y'all tell me, I mean, you may have run into it in y'all's area too, but what we're having is these people put these places up for sale, and the cost of living here is pretty cheap, like in this rural area I live in, but the pay is also reflects the cost of living, you know, and so these people will jack these prices way up on this land, and people from like California, New York, places that they can sell their house and cash off a piece of land here and build a house and everything else and never go in debt, whereas people like us, we can't afford it. We could never even think about affording it, you know, and that's really, we've noticed that happening a lot around here. And, you know, I'm glad people are wanting to move to the country and get out of the cities. That's wonderful. It's just sad, you know, because people around here, we can't, it ain't just us. I mean, it's everybody around here. We can't buy it. So, kind of hurts my heart a little bit. Alright, get these pork chops going. You wonder what this bowl is sitting here? Some of you may be wondering, it's my chicken bowl. Was there only 5 in there? Oh, I thought it was 6 in there. My bad. I'm gonna put this one in. Alright. Where is my salt? a little salt and pepper. When my fresh herbs start coming back in, I'll use fresh herbs, but for right now, I just use some dried Italian seasoning. Italian seasoning is like my favorite thing to season anything with. And so you may wonder why I'm cooking so many extra, because the kids won't eat a whole one. But what I'll do, I like to cook extra, because we do like try to eat at home and stuff, and this will be a perfect lunch for tomorrow. So I try to cook enough to have some left over, so we'll have lunch for the next day, that's still our home cooked food. Let's see. That ain't gonna fit right there. And beans is done. I used to wish I had a bigger stove, and now that I actually have a bigger stove, now I wish I had an even bigger stove. I need one with about 10 eyes on it. I don't think they make them either, Jacob. You're right. And all this stuff we did grow ourselves. We grew the pork, we grew the green beans, we grew these peas. Grew it all. And now, y'all, that didn't happen overnight. Like, I know sometimes it can be discouraging, but us growing all of our own food and everything, it didn't happen overnight. We used to live on Hamburger Helper and corn dogs and Hot Pockets. Let's see. And y'all, let's see, speaking of food, how is your garden coming along? So hopefully this weekend, we just passed our last frost date, so hopefully this weekend we're going to get some more garden planted. Maybe plant our sweet corn and some tomato plants. We've already planted a few hills of squash and zucchini in the raised bed. We thought we'd try it in the raised bed. But it hadn't come up yet. Got a few carrots that are coming along. We didn't have any come up in the fall. Well, we had like 5. We planted like a pile of carrots in the fall. We only had like 5 come up. And so this time we were like, well, we're going to be smart and we're just going to plant a pile of seeds and surely we'll have enough carrots to eat on more than 5 anyway. Well, I want y'all to know every one of them seeds come up. Every one of them carrot seeds. But if y'all hear my smoke alarm go off, please don't pay any attention to it. It's like right there. And as soon as like I start cooking, it starts going off. So y'all just look over that. I'm going to put a little grease in the pan with these pork chops. Sometimes some make more grease than others. These ain't making a whole lot of grease. They ain't got much of a fat layer on them, so I'm going to put a little piece of butter in it. Piece of paper and I'm going with that one. I'm gonna throw me a little meat in my peas. I keep all the trimmings off the bacon, all the extra stuff when we slice our bacon, and it makes excellent, like, piece of meat to put in your beans and stuff. That, and then we keep like the trimmings off the ham, the country hams and everything. So I wanted to show y'all something. It just made me think of it when I went to the fridge. So see here, I didn't make a video on these. These are squash and zucchini pickles. You know how it is. You got squash and zucchini coming out your ears. There's only so much fried squash you can eat in your lifetime. Like in a summer. There's only so much. That's the only way my family will eat it is fried squash. Now I'll saute it every once in a while, but nobody else is going to eat it but me. So I was reading some stuff and I was like, well, I'm going to try these here pickles. They are super, super good. Like, and the texture is good. I didn't know how they would be. Because I've tried freezing squash and different things, and and canning it, like just regular canning, and I can't handle the texture, like the mushiness. But these squash pickles and zucchini pickles, I'm going to definitely make some more of these this year, so I'll be hopefully doing a video about these, because they were easy to make. You make them just like, I pretty much make them just like my bread and butter pickles, which was an experiment too, and they were really good too, so maybe I'll do a video on those too. But yeah, a good way to preserve all that extra squash and zucchini. If you do it again, show us, please. Yes, I will. I will. I didn't know how they turn out, and they're very good. And so I'm really trying to move away, well, I pretty much have, from like the non-stick pans and stuff. So when you see me cooking, I'll mostly be using like my metal pots and then my cast iron pans. They say that stuff puts off toxins when it gets hot, so I'm trying to kind of step away from that. And you know, learning to cook on cast iron can be a learning curve, but some tips for you. Of course, make sure that it is seasoned well, and that it don't hurt to have a little grease in the bottom, especially when you're just getting it seasoned. Before you cook, put you some kind of grease in the bottom. Get it hot before you put your food in there. And your food usually will let go. That cast iron will let that food go once it's ready to turn. Like the meat, if you find that your meat is stuck, it's not quite ready to turn. And those are just some little cast iron cooking tips. Because it is a learning curve. It's different. I didn't grow up with my mama cooking on cast iron. So it was definitely a learning curve for me. I'll show y'all my pretty little biscuits me and Maggie made. Look at them, ain't they cute? They're good too. But I'm telling you a funny story. So every time I make biscuits by myself, my biscuits are usually like a little crumbly. Like, you know, you put jelly in them and they crumble all the pieces. That's usually the way, like, when I make them by myself, that's the way they are. I make them the exact same way. And here's Maggie. Gotta run. Have a blessed weekend, everyone. Thank you, August Rain. You too. But when Maggie helps me make them, they're not crumbly. And I do the exact same thing. I told her she has the magic touch. So now every time I make biscuits, I make sure Maggie's there to help me. so you can or cannot use the grease to make you some gravy if you want to. I usually don't, not unless I'm making mashed potatoes or something. Then I'll put some gravy on them. We went around our new place. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know we've got this property. It's about a half mile up the road here. That's where we planted our potatoes. That's where we cleared off. It used to be all wooded. So we went up there the other day and planted several apple trees. And so there's a video coming out at the beginning of the week with us up there planting them apple trees. And Andy's going to give y'all some tips on planting trees. Because, you know, that's his forte. He's a landscaper. So he's all about, you know, he knows exactly how to plant trees. I do not. He does. But we're really leaning towards like the perennials. I've heard pickled radishes and carrots are good. Oh, I bet that is good. August rain. Y'all, I got backed up on these comments. I'm sorry. Getting ready to plant tomatoes here too. But we'll wait for a few more days. It's supposed to get down into the 30s. Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing like we're a little nervous about. But we said if that breeze, if it becomes a late frost, which has happened to us before and we got burnt, but if it's a late frost, we'll just try to save it. We're just gonna take a chance. We'll see. These 80-degree days has got us chomping at the bit, ready to get stuff in the ground. One right there is about done. I like to get a good, let me see if I can show y'all. I like them to look like that, get a good sear, a good brown sear on them. And once you figure out how to cook on cast iron, you'll never cook cheeseburgers on the grill again. Like, I think the cast iron cooked cheeseburgers are way better than cooked on the grill on 80 degrees. So, usually now when we have burgers, we cook them in the frying pan instead of the grill. There's something else I was talking about. I done forgot now. I don't know. This year we're planting Celebrity tomatoes and Mountain Pride. Now, look back at some of my previous videos from last summer. You hear me talk about Mountain Pride tomatoes. In this area right here, they are my absolute favorite. Now, they are hybrid. They're not an heirloom. They are hybrid tomato, but they produce awesome, especially if you're canning, because they produce them like a bunch, so you get like 5 or 6 tomatoes ripe at one time. And I have not had trouble with them splitting, and I've not had trouble with disease and like blight and stuff getting on them. They are my favorite. I've planted them for 3 or 4 years now, and definitely my go-to. Oh, let me get a plate, y'all. There it goes. I told y'all the fire alarm was coming. It goes off every night when I cook. Like, my kids call it the dinner bell. Which, of course, I have taught them that if they hear it in the middle of the night, that, you know, what we need to do. But I'm going to move this one over here. Yeah, we usually eat like this about every night. Sometimes supper's later than others, like tonight. You know, I usually like to have it done by 5 or 5:30, but it ain't happening today. I try to plan ahead somewhat. Kind of, like I laid out the pork chops like 1 o'clock today for them to fall. I've tried to put stuff like in the refrigerator for like the week coming up. And then, like, when I go to get it out, I'm like, I don't want that tonight. So, I don't do it that way, because then I don't cook it. about the. Hey, what you got cooking? I'm late. Hey, Christy. We've got pork chops, green beans, pink-eyed purple whole peas, and some leftover homemade biscuits is what we're having tonight. So I don't fry my pork chops. I just sear them in the pan. That's the way we like them. I don't know. I have trouble. Like, this is, my ancestors are just gonna like point their finger at me and be so disappointed. But I have trouble frying stuff. Like I do okay with fried squash, but like frying meat and like frying pork chops and frying chicken, heaven forbid. I cannot fry chicken to save my life. I cannot do it. So if any of y'all got any tips on frying chicken that you want to share with me, but I have tried and I have tried. I usually try about every 6 months. I'll take a notion and I'll try to fry chicken. Usually the breading gets burnt before the chicken's done, or like, I don't know, I just have a hard time getting the chicken done. And I try to measure like the temperature of my grease, and my granny like makes fun of me all the time because she's like, who don't know how to fry chicken? You know, but it's me. I can't do it. Hang on. But yeah, so that's why another reason I don't fry pork chops. But plus, we just like them this way. So we just like them seared with a little seasoning on them. We like to taste the meat. And one thing you can tell with like a homegrown meat, because we're the same way with steaks. Like, we don't use steak sauce. We just eat the steak. But with homegrown meats, they have so much more flavor than the store-bought meat. You don't really need any extra flavor in our opinion anyway. Because Andy feels the same way. But like, I don't think you need a lot of extra on there, just like steak sauce on steaks. Like, we never use it. I like the taste of the meat, so we just cook them this way. One of these days, I'm gonna like sling that fire alarm off the wall. Healthier for sure. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is a lot healthier cooking them this way. Instead of frying them. I just, like I said, I can't. So if y'all got tips on frying chicken, please share them, because I do. I try about every 6 months, and it's not good. And my other problem is, if the chicken does get done, like I don't burn the breading is like mushy. And I don't know why. And I've watched YouTube videos. I've like asked my granny, and I don't know. I've done all the things, and I still can't. I can't figure it out. Just can't figure it out. And luckily, the good thing about canned stuff, just like a lot of people dry these peas and then cook them. Well, where I canned them, I did all the work ahead of time, canning them and shelling them and everything, which is hard when they're green and not dried. But I went ahead and put the work in at the beginning, and then all I had to do was open them up, put them in my pot, warm them up. And so that's why I like canning like peas and beans and stuff, just like those October beans. A lot of people dry those, and I just assume can them so I can just open them up and they're already ready. They're already cooked. So just kind of makes it easier. So yeah, canning and all that food preservation in the summertime is like, it's hard. I mean, I have nights, a lot of nights that I stay up till midnight or later canning, you know, because the garden don't wait for nobody. But it's worth it. Like, when I need to throw together a meal, right here it is. It's like Monday, I've got to work all day on Monday. My plan on Monday, I've already got in my head, is we're going to have my canned ribs, and I've got a video on that if you want to check that out. But my canned pork ribs, and then some canned vegetables. I haven't decided which yet, but that will literally take me a whole 20 minutes to get that meal ready, because everything's already cooked, it's canned, and it's homegrown, good for you food. That's faster than fast food, especially if you live in a place like this, like I do, because if we wanted fast food, we would have to drive 30 minutes to the fast food restaurant. The closest one is literally 30 minutes away at the least. Get through the drive-thru, get our food, come back home, hour and a half more than likely killed right there when you could have cooked like a full course meal in that hour and a half. So I'd just as soon cook than go somewhere. But well, y'all, I guess I'm gonna holler for these youngins and holler for Andy, and we're gonna eat our supper. And I appreciate all y'all's continued support. I love doing these lives and talking with y'all and hearing from everybody. So anyways, yeah, look out for the video coming out on Monday with us planting those apple trees. Like I said, Andy's going to give y'all some tips on planting apple trees and kind of what we're doing. We're leaning more towards the perennial crops. Of course, we're still going to plant our annual crops like the vegetables and stuff, but we're also trying to plant more perennials, something that you plant one time and you're done, and it's going to continue to give you food and food and food, you know, like the apple trees. So that's something we're trying to do more of here. But anyways, y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all on the next one.